So hey everyone, welcome back. JSMFX here for another episode of weekly forex analysis, reviews and focus for the week of 11th to 15th August, and also for the analysis of forecast of 18th to 22nd of August 2025. Please bear with me. There's some construction going on with my neighbor above. So if you feel you don't hear my voice very well, you can just turn on the caption notification on, and yeah, let's begin. So very dramatic week. For me, I can say it was a very good week, and it was a bit of a losing week, but I didn't take so much of the trades. I think I took like not more than five. I think around 3 or 4. But anyway, just like I said before, I'll be focusing on Euro USD and USD CHF because I believe those two pairs go in opposite of each other, and so I want to take advantage of that where I know I can maximize my profits by getting to have maybe one or both trades from both two trades from both pairs. So let's begin now with the Euro USD. Now, before we go to the lower time frames, I want us to focus a bit on the higher time frames because somehow I feel that we are missing a lot on the direction, and that is why some people go off track many a time. So let's start off with the monthly for this one, and I can see obviously that we had this high, okay, which broke to a low, and then we had a change of character here, which brought the price back very sublimely to the return, but not really to this demand, okay, but just from there price just took off and then went to the upside. So we see very well that we had a pullback here with this doji, which pushed price up, and then we came down again, and then this one could be another reason maybe to push price up, either to mitigate this extreme, because we had a change of character here and price didn't pull back to that supply. So maybe that would be the reason to push price to the upside before maybe continuing with the downtrend, something of the sort. So I won't want to explain so much, but we understand what we are seeing right now. So let me just draw this on as my monthly POI, but let me see. I think I had 1 month POI here. Okay, then let me just make it up real quick. Put in this kind of color. Okay, and try and put in a bit brighter. Okay, and then come over here and set it to be visible on the monthly and weekly. I don't want to look at it on the daily because it will confuse me, a bit. So let's just concentrate on it from the week, monthly and weekly. As you go down to the daily, sorry, as you go down to the daily, we will try and simplify things easier. So monthly, so weekly. We see weekly also price has just been dancing around that area, the demand, and as you can see it brought in this very long week, which now could be the reason that they're just looking for liquidity and not really meant to do or cause a change of character. So this week could be, it was very long, so could be the reason to just continue to buy maybe to that supply that we saw in the monthly right here. So for me, I'm looking or expecting for price to still continue to the upside, but price would always do what it wants to do. So if it does change direction, then we'll change our bias. But for now, I feel there are more areas of supply here that I'll be looking at and expecting price to come to. Well, that's for the daily. I'll also mark this daily pullback, this one here, the inside bar. Remember I said every inside bar most of the time are pullbacks. So this pullback is where price is, but I see it it already spent some time inside there, and right now it looks like it's continuing or wanting to push up. So daily now, That was a weekly. So daily we see also very big dramatic kind of moves. First and foremost, let me try and explain from here. We had this downtrend like this. Okay, all these candles broke the previous candle's low, so we started going up. Okay, so I think here we had a small lower time frame change of character of some sort, which was not visible on the daily, but we see very clearly that could be happening or could have happened during the maybe 4 hours some sort. So yes, we go up and then come down to mitigate that demand, and then we go up to mitigate the supply, but we come down to mitigate some few demands here that were building a little bit of demand, especially this candle here, which pushed price up and broke the structure, the high, and then it came down to mitigate that next demand that was left, and then price went up, we came down, went up. We didn't have any kind of change of character, but we had a very good order flow around here. And yeah, this was one of the trades that at least got me a little bit of some profits, taking partials and also trailing my stop loss before, you know, Trump did this thing around there. So yes, price now came back to that demand deeper. Okay, and as you can see, that is the place where now price has been pushed to the upside from that demand. Now, one thing I'm focused on is this double bottom, which I know possibly we could not, the big guys could not, you know, be ready to come and take them out now. So that's why they push price up. So here we had a pullback from this inside bar in this doji, and then we went up. So building liquidity around there, price now came back to that demand, and then we pushed up. So where price is right now for me, it's playing between that high and this low. Okay, we can call that internal structure. So playing between that high and this low, and right now we are just ranging. Okay, we're just ranging around here. So maybe this one could be the reason to just, you know, play around and then continue to the upside, because we see price dancing around this weekly demand, and also with the daily we see not really that much of a pullback, but the pullback did happen here. Okay, around here, coming to this actual demand that was built during the start of the pullback. So for me, I'm expecting such kind of a move to continue to the upside. But before that, I'll show this. Let me just remove this right now for now, and put it in minutes so that I can get to explain it when you get there. But I'll be also looking for areas of supply, especially this here. If this one gets broken, okay, say price goes to the upside coming in next week and breaks this supply to the upside, then I'll be looking for any kind of demand here that would be left unattended or maybe unmitigated, then take my long positions and also continue to the upside. So that's the kind of, you know, order flow I'm looking at and expecting maybe Euro USD to give me coming in next week. But the lower time frames are still giving us a little bit of, you know, conundrum, because you never know what, you know, these guys want to do. Okay, so let's just now go to 4 hour. I think that was the daily if I'm not wrong. Yes, so 4 hour. So 4 hour, also very good structure. We had this high, this low. Price has pulled back to the extreme now, actually to not really the extreme, but the premium side, above 50% equilibrium. And as you can see, I think this was, and no, this was not NFP, but there was news here that pushed price to the downside. Okay, so what is happening is price went up, okay, pulled back to somewhat some demand here, especially in the lower time frames. And as you can see, they danced around here and then pushed up, had a change of character here, priced again after the change of character, did the return very well to the supply, and then price was pushed down. Okay, so this push to the downside didn't actually come to any area of significance around here, but in this daily sell to buy, we see that price that touched that range and then went to the upside. So yes, we had a pullback and then had a little bit of range before continuing to the upside. I think this was NFP, and then now had another pullback only to build this double top. And then as you can see, price push to the upside. So here we again had another range and then went to the upside, and then with this one we see that price has pushed up, and the momentum is actually continuing to the upside, because if you check very well from how we are drawing our lines, okay, we have somewhat a little bit of an uptrend. Okay, so maybe this one could be the reason to push price to the upside and maybe come to this supply before possibly this one could change direction and come over to the downside, or maybe continue to the upside as we speculated on the daily. So unless this supply for me will be breached, especially the daily and the 4 hour, I will not look for any longs. But I'm already on a long from here, but I'm only targeting to here. I'll show you in the 15 minute. So I'll be looking for price to just come to here and then look for any reactions that will be there, and also confluences before maybe making any decisions to continue to the downside, or maybe wait for it to if it doesn't give me enough confluences, I'll wait for it to break this high and then look for the demand areas where now will signal for me that will be continuing to the upside. So I hope that is clear for 4 hour. As you can see, we had a change of character and then we had the build up of this double top. Okay, so for those fair value gap guys, again, I say this every day, for me fair value gap is just liquidity. So if you check very well, one saw fair value gap, another one saw double top, and that double top was taken away, the fair value gap was tagged maybe, and price went his way, and possibly this one could be a dead trap for them, and yeah, price could just come and take them out and mitigate this supply. So I don't know about you, but for me, I feel I understand smart money concept very clearly. Sorry for the intrusion of sound and also distortion, but what I was trying to say is I don't mind the strategy of fair value gap guys, and also the double bottom double top guys, but for me SMC just clearly shows me that that is liquidity, and we're seeing proof. Okay, anyway, so let's just go to 15 minutes and try and close in on our analysis on Euro USD. So I'd love to start over with I think that was on 11th, so this should start around where is 11th? 11th was here. So I wasn't around here. Okay, I wasn't around here, so I just left price to do all that it wanted to do. And let me try and explain this trade first before we continue to do the analysis. Before I do that, let me just do an overview. We saw that that double top was created here, but as you can see from the 15 minute, we changed direction from there, and then we had a little bit of a range before we continue to the downside. Okay, so yes, we were playing between that high and this low, and then price came down, and broke that structure to the upside. So you see, now we have somewhat of a kind of an order flow to the upside, which now push price up, and then now we've come lower to break this low, so maybe they could be changing direction to the lower side. So if you check very well also here, we see that price has come to that what do you call it, the 4 hour supply that we just saw, and as you can see, it's breaking most of the excuse me, it's breaking most of the supplies to the upside, like this one, and expecting also this one to be taken out coming next week. So right now I'm in this trade, okay, and I'm expecting at least this range to pull back, do a corrective pullback maybe to this demand before maybe continuing to the upside. Because if you remember very well from the high time frame, we are looking, for me, I'm looking to continue with the buys to the upside. Okay, so now explaining what happened here is from 11th, I wasn't around, so I noticed that there was this triangle, and as you can see, it went very well to the upside. We had a change of character here, and then we had the return to the supply, which now pushed price lower like that, and then came down low again. I think, I'm not really sure if I explained this, but today being, I think this was on Tuesday. Yeah, I don't think, yeah, I don't think I explained this. Anyway, so price came lower, took out this liquidity, and then we went up. So in the 5 minutes or the 1 minute, we have somewhat some change of character here, which actually broke to the upside and then made the return to the demand. And then from there, I put in my, but I think I explained it in my TikTok. I have a TikTok page where you can check on it with the same name, JSMFX KE23, JSMFX KE23. I'll also put the link in the description box below, so you can join me, and also get to, learn some few tricks, and also get plugged in to my channel and all of my socials, and also get tips on where to look at, or what to look at coming in next week, especially this one. So yes, so now putting my buy stop there, and then had a very good trade to the upside. My TP was here actually, because I was expecting maybe this one to be the reason to, push price to the downside, but that wasn't the case. Although I had hit TP, price pushed downwards. Okay, and then I pushed upward, it pushed upward again like that. So we came down here to only build liquidity, as you can see, just like that, and then price push to the upside. So what is happening is, when we came to that upside, we have this reaction that caused the change of character. Okay, and then price mitigated the supply right there, and then continue to the downside. So when price came to here, I placed in my sell stop right there. I was expecting actually for it to, react from this supply, but I also kept in mind that we still have an extreme above, so I placed in my sell stop around there. It tagged me, and then it went up again like that. Let me just show you like that. And then I noticed that if it had already come here, then I placed in my stop loss now officially above here, around here, and then price went to the downside. So after it broke this low that I just drew, okay, after it broke that low, um, I put in my trailing stop loss to break even, and then later on I trailed it because I didn't want to go to sleep with this trade open. So I placed in my trailing stop loss there, as you can see, and then price went up, so it went down, came up again, only for it to build liquidity around there and around there, and that's when now they came and took people out. I think this was on Thursday. So I'll just I wasn't really contented, or seeing enough conferences for me to see the reason of taking another sell, because after this trailing stop loss I didn't have any trade going on, or maybe live. So I was just waiting for maybe Friday to see how things would go. But also for Thursday I wasn't around, so I just left price to continue to the downside. So yes, sometimes emotions can tell you to trail your stop loss. Sometimes it can tell you to at least move your stop loss a little bit lower. Because if I left my stop loss around here, then that would have been a very good trade, straight to TP, as you can see. So I guess with time I'll get to remember that and put that also in my notebook, so that in my journal, so that it gives me enough courage to next time face it without any fear. So yes, we continue to downside, and they had already built that liquidity, which now push price to the downside. So let's now summarize what happened. So on Friday, because I wasn't around on Thursday, so on Friday I woke up to see the price was respecting areas of demand, okay, and pushing price to the upside like that. Okay, so here is where now I drew all of my I bosses meaning internal breakout structure. So internal structure. So we have this, that was the last one, and then I started now drawing it from here. So when Frankfurt and London came in, I didn't have enough conviction to take any position. But when it came to New York, I noticed that this supply would not be enough to hold price to the upside, because as you can see, here is where the 4 hour was mitigated and price is now pulling back to continue to the upside. So that's when I noticed that we can just continue to the upside. And when price came up there and then it came down with the news, I think this was news. Yeah, this was news on Friday. I think for us the news happened around 3:30. So I placed in my buy stop again right there, and as you can see, price went up and then it came down. So when it was coming down, I placed in my stop loss around there. So I said if this low now gets taken out, then that will be a fair loss. So as you can see, price went up and now I'm in the trade. And yeah, now the trade is working well. So what is happening is, here, right here, we see that we had a demand which they left. So for me, I'm expecting that demand to at least be touched or mitigated before we continue to the upside. I'm not also forgetting that, let me show you a little bit of a clue here. We have this pullback. I see this pullback pushing price down, and then it came up to be broken that high. So meaning we have a change of character, which was actually validated now with this candle, because it closed above all those highs. So for me, yes, I would expect price to at least shoot up from here and continue to the upside. But I'm also vigilant to see how, maybe what Monday will do. Although I want to be around, but I would want to see how what Monday will do, and see if maybe it came and mitigated here and went to the upside, or maybe this was the reason to push price to the lower side. But for now, I am very confident and I'm holding on to this trade on my FTMO in my live account. No, on the live account, yes. And also hoping that it will go to the upside. So I don't have much to explain on Euro USD. I think that should be enough. As much as we have the downtrend going on like this, okay, and we should be expecting this one could to be the reason to continue to the downside, then I really don't see so much that I'll be expecting, especially for that direction, because the high time frame is still key and is still the king. So for me, I'll respect the high time frame, and hopefully also expect this trade to continue to the upside. So if you ask me about my target, it will just be up here, because I think this should be my stop loss. I press my stop loss here, so my 3R should be around there. Yeah, should be around here. Okay, I place my 3R should be around there. It's 3.3, but the 0.3 is for me to cover all the commissions and whatever the things that they cut off after take profit has been achieved. So yeah, that should be all for Euro USD. Let's now look at USD CHF before we close in for the day. So USD CHF, let us begin. I'll start off from the weekly, because we have a very clear picture that we're playing between that high and this low. Okay, price has pulled back, not really to the 50%, but we see that it has is dancing around this supply, and also we have this demand that maybe could be the reason to maybe push price to the upside, or maybe being breached just to collect liquidity and then breach it and continue to the downside, because the overall trend is to the downside. So yes, a little bit of indicating kind of structure. So we can't tell for sure, because doji is all about indecisive candle, where buyers and sellers are not really sure of the next move. And also with the big guys, they're pulling in liquidity with the dojis most of the time to actually look to see on how they can capitalize on both directions before the actual move that was intended. So from here, I'm expecting this supply to hold and continue to downside, but whatever is happening here, I can't tell, and I won't really put across to tell you on the next direction from here. But let's just look at lower time frames and see maybe what we have in store. So from the daily, From the daily, yes, we have the change of character. Let me just zoom in. Uh, so from the daily, we have the change of character here because after price range around there, it broke to the upside. Okay, right there, and then price went to came down to the weekly um, demand here. Okay, where now it happens to uh, do all the range kind of stuff. So all this is just, you know, being in the box of the demand, and we can't tell of the next move to the upside or maybe move to the downside, but we'll have to wait and see what will happen. I was expecting actually for price to come down to this demand before maybe looking for any areas or maybe reasons or conferences to take it to the upside. But as you can see, the whole week has just been ranging and a lot of ranging. If we also check very clearly, let me try and zoom in on this one so I can explain this. We have this high, okay, and this inside bar was a pullback, and then we had a high, okay, before I think NFP push price to the downside. So technically this is a change of character. I think we'll see it clearly on the lower time frames. This is a change of character, which as you can see, price did range around here and then came up to that supply to mitigate it. Okay, so from there onwards, we see that we had another change of character here again, okay, which now price looks to mitigate that supply. So you see, that is, at least for me, that's enough reasons to tell myself that we could be pushing lower. And also, if you check very well, I have this trade on my funded next competition where I'm expecting price to at least move lower to maybe here or maybe also breach that low and continue to the lower side. So in the 4 hour, this is where I took my trade, and I'll be showing you in a few seconds. So 4 hour, just like I said, that trade is already there, but I took that trade from this sell stop right here, from a sell stop around here, and I placed in my stop loss around there. So if you check very well, we had this massive move to the upside, and like I said, we had this pullback on the daily, which pushed price to the upside, and then we caused a change of character up until there. Now I want you to notice one thing. Yes, we have a change of character here, which pushed price upwards, and then we came down, okay, and then we came up. I won't want to explain whatever happened here because I want to preserve it for those that would want to actually will, or rather, you know, show interest in knowing what really happened here. But for you, my viewers, I'll just show you what really happened. I will just show you an overview of what I'm expecting, but what actually happened here is just part of, you know, the learning process if you want to be in my private group. So if you want to be in my private group, I'll leave the link in the description box of my inbox where you can just, you know, reach out to me anytime, and then, you know, come and let's discuss business, and also let's discuss opportunities for you to scale up your trading the same way I'm doing. So we see that price went up to mitigate that supply after the change of character, and then price came down again to this demand. Now remember, this demand was touched once, twice, and now thrice. And if you check very well now, that creates triple bottom, or relatively triple bottom. So yes, price has pushed to the upside. We don't have a change of character, but for me, I see an order flow. How do I see it? We have this pullback that push price down, and then another pullback, then push price down to this demand, which is a doji. And like I said before, dojis are undecisive or undecided candles where buyers and sellers were, you know, fighting on where to take price to the next direction. But if you check very well, also dojis for me, just like fair value gaps, are areas where I'll be looking to see on it being placed where it's building liquidity. Okay, so this for me, I feel is liquidity, and it's proven enough with this low and this low and also this low before the change of character. So for here, I see price has pulled back enough to this supply, and maybe they could be ready to come down, coming in next week possibly, and also reach my TP. So that's one conference that I'll be looking at and expecting price to continue to the downside from there. So as you can see, from the way also I'm explaining, you can see from Euro USD we are speculating on buys, and the USD CHF is speculating on sells. So that is why I love these two pairs. So 15 minutes now, where I had most of my trades, some were losses, and yeah, some were gains. So number one, we have this one here. Just like the Euro USD, I think this was on Wednesday. Yes, I didn't have any trade on Tuesday or also on Monday, but there was this trade here. I don't think if I explained this in my other video. This was 12th August. Yes, yes, yes. I didn't have this one explained. So let's just start from here and see what really happened. So I noticed we had a change of character here. This was on Monday. But coming in on Tuesday is when now I started doing my analysis. But before we do that, let us just look at the overview of the whole 15 minute. Let me try and remove this and then zoom out so we can have a overview of the whole structure. So if you check very well, we have this high that push price lower, and we have relative triple bottom which push price higher, and then NFP came and took all of them out. Okay, and then we have this low that caused a change of character right there, and then now our IBOS structure started going to the upwards. So we see a high forming in there, and then we came in to create a low by breaking this low, and then now we continued with the lower time frames like that. Okay, so what I'm seeing right now is we have this low, coming to break this high, and then coming, to get broken again to the low. So for me, I feel this 4 hour being mitigated is enough, and maybe could be the reason to just push price lower and continue to the downside. And also we have a break to the upside. Yes, we can say that all this is just a way to continue the uptrend, but overall from the high time frame, we have seen evidently that we are going to continue with the downtrend. So let's now start explaining about the trades and see on how we tackle them during the week. Okay, so coming in on Tuesday, notice we had a change of character right there, and then we had the return to the downside, to the upside, to the supply, and then we had the move to the downside. So here we see that we had a pullback, okay, and then a move to the downside, and then we had a move to the downside, and then this one now is where I think for this one I hesitated, but for this next one that I'm about to show you is where I took the trade. So I noticed, I just keeping track of how the price is moving, and as you can see, that went very well, but I didn't take that trade. So for the next one now, I think this was on New York. Okay, when New York was coming in, I think I think there was CPI, I'm not really sure, but price came into this supply. Okay, after this change of character that I noticed, it came into this supply, but it also came in to pull back and then take liquidity, and then now short to the downside. So this was a very good trade, and yeah, it gave me a little bit of confidence to continue with my analysis. So all through Wednesday, as you can see, nothing really happened until here. uh no, Tuesday. Yeah, this was Tuesday. So all through until Wednesday, we see nothing happen until here. So what happened is I noticed on Wednesday that we had a change of character, and then we had the return. Okay, now inside this return is why I placed in my buy stop there. Okay, no. After coming in to the supply, I noticed that price came in to this demand, but it didn't touch it. But I still took the trade there because I felt it was fair for me to take a trade from there. It won't make, that much of a difference. And also I'll be expecting, when I take that trade there, I was expecting price to at least go up and maybe give me that 3R. So when price came up there, I moved my stop loss to break even right there. And then when it went higher, I placed in my stop loss, my trailing stop loss right there, which on Tuesday during the New York afternoon session, we see that price went down, okay, to take out my trailing stop loss and also mitigate, officially or formally mitigate that demand before it continued to the upside. So we see now they left this demand, okay, they left this demand unmitigated with this range, and then they pushed to the upside. So we see also price tried to come down, but it only came down to take out this liquidity, and then they push to the upside. So coming in at this point is where we had our last low, and then price went up, came down to, take more orders of the sell stop guys, the ones that were buying, and then came down to take them out and also cause a change of character. So when now on Friday came in, because all this happened I think on Thursday, Friday coming in, now I had this trade, okay. I was watching price on how it's going to react, because when price broke my eyeballs right here, this low, price pushed back to this supply. Now remember, this is the Frankfurt and also this is the London. So I would have taken this trade, but I didn't, because I was still skeptical and waiting for price to come to this supply, or maybe this supply, before making the decision. So I guess next time I just have to build more confidence to, yeah, take the trade as it comes. So trade went well to TP, okay, but yeah, you can say that that wasn't my trade. And then from this trade now, you can see that price mitigated that demand, okay, and then it pushed higher. It pushed higher like that. So this is another trade. This is a trade I took in the lower time frames. I don't know, I'll see if I can remember and show you what really happened around here. So when it came now up to that, after hitting my TP, I hope you don't call me greedy, because I was seeing so many opportunities on where to, take my trades. So when price came down like that, I already placed my sell stop here. So when price came down and news, I think this was the CPI if I'm not wrong, news short price to the upside. But at this point I felt, if price had mitigated this area of supply, then they could be coming to that area, or maybe this area. Now because my risk was low, okay, I wasn't disturbed. Okay, I wasn't disturbed of how much I was going to lose, because this 4-hour brown supply is what I was expecting price to not breach to the upside. So later on, price came in. Okay, I had not placed my stop loss even after the news. So I placed in sell stop. It was tagged. Now I'm live, playing between blue color and the red colors, blue numbers and the red numbers. And then finally we came and broke this low, but not with the candle below. So from there now, yes, I was now skeptical and asking myself that maybe this doji would be the reason to push price to the lower side and hopefully, take out this liquidity and hit my TP, but that wasn't the case. As you can see, like I said before, dojis are also areas of liquidity for me, that is. So when I went to sleep, that's when now I left the trade running, and this was one of the trades that I gave guys in the group. But as you can see, it hit stop loss, and yeah, it hit stop loss actually on this one and this one. So next time I think I'll just be very cognizant that when price moves in like that for me, then I'll just be, coming in to break even. Actually, I should have taken it to break even, because it had already broken this low, despite not closing below with the candle, but it had broke that low. So in here we see that maybe I would have placed in a break-even point, and yeah, at least I won't have been in any loss. And also when price came to here, I should have taken I should have taken partials. Okay, so yes, so now yes, we have the change of character. Maybe it could be the time to now mitigate the supply and continue to the downside, but I am still cognizant of this supply and also this supply, waiting to see if price will touch there. And if I get more confluences around there, then possibly on Tuesday, because Monday won't be around, if I get more confidence around there, then that's where I'll be looking to, shoot my shot and put in some cells. Okay, so I think that should be all for USD CHF. Let's just jump to 5 minutes and show you how I took that trade. So as you can see, I was following the order flow. Okay, so when price came in here, this was my 15-minute supply demand. When price came in there, we can see that price pushed up and then pulled down again. Okay, so I had two trades. I had two trades here if you check very well. There's this first trade which hit stop loss, but I remember that it was only liquidity being taken out and also the mitigation being done, and that's when I put in my buy stop, and the buy stop brought back price to the extreme on the 1 minute, and then as you can see price now from there it went up to the to my TP. So that's what I'm trying to say, that sometimes you can see these opportunities on the lower time frame. Sometimes it is not that easy, but yeah, if you want us to trade together, you can just check on my link. I'll leave it on the description box. But also, if you need private mentorship so that you can get to understand trading in a deeper way and deeper level, then you can let me know also in my inbox, whether in my Telegram or my TikTok. But for now, I'll leave the links in the description box so that we can get to continue to chat from there. So thank you so much for your support. Thank you so much for holding on to this moment. I know I've talked so much, I explained so much about so many things, but I just hope that you took some value from all that I just shared. So yeah, I don't have much. You just have a nice weekend, and God bless you. See you next week.